You can hear everything kind of sliding around. But yeah, it gets up to speed in no time at all. Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Joe Bach from Bach's Garage, and behind me is the Silverado EV that I traded my 2021 Super Duty in for. If you guys saw the last video, I kind of went through and said why I was trading in that truck, and I had you guys guess onto what I was getting, and one or two of you got it right. And I don't blame you for not guessing it. I wouldn't have guessed it either. But here it is. It's a Silverado EV 2024. It's the 3WT, and I've had it for about a month. I've put about 5,000 miles on it, and I'll tell you guys why I got it and what my thoughts are on after driving it for 5,000 miles. So if you guys want to see that, stay tuned. All right, so I think I'm gonna break this down into a few parts. I'm gonna tell you why I selected this truck and why it fits my needs. And we'll run you through a few of the features on this truck that I wasn't really sure about, things I've learned while having it, all that stuff. While doing that, I'm gonna run you through my thoughts and some of my impressions for owning this truck. And then the last thing I'm gonna do is maybe just go for a little bit of a test drive, show it off, show how it is driving it. So let's get started and I'll walk you around. So why did I pick the Silverado EV? So I have a few needs. My biggest thing is that I need kind of reliable transportation. I have an hour commute, hour 10 each way, and I put a lot of miles on. I do 2,500 miles a month. So up to 30,000 a year once you add in weekends and special trips. So that's a big thing. Other part of that was that I've been getting killed with gas prices. Never really cared about it before. I never really worried about it when I was making just a payment on my truck. But once the Super Duty started having issues, it was just too much for me to justify paying for gas, paying for repairs, and paying for the car note. So I thought I'd like something a little bit more fuel efficient. The other really big thing that I need is I need something to tow the Bronco around. I've told you before, but the Bronco's heavy. It's like 8,000 pounds, 8,500 pounds. You add in the trailer, you're looking at 11, 12,000 pounds. If you don't believe what that thing weighs, I will put a link down below to me putting it on a scale. So it's heavy. So with all that in mind, I started bouncing around, and Kara actually recommended a few different electric vehicles, and they all just didn't have the towing capacity that I needed until I stumbled upon the Silverado EV. There's a few different trim levels of this truck, but they have the WT versions, which is the work truck, and we'll get more into that later. But the work truck tows 12,500, so I'll be under capacity, not by much, but it'll do it. Also, it's still a pretty big vehicle. It weighs in at 8,500 pounds, so I'm not too worried about the trailer and Bronco moving it all over the road. So I'm like, you know what, that fits the bill, let me check it out. These trucks retail for a ton of money, even the work truck trims, they over $70,000. So that was like a no-go with me. There's no reason for me to get into a truck that expensive. That's, you know, an electric vehicle like this. But Hertz Rent-A-Car has liquidated a lot of their fleet, and they're at dealers. You can find them online for like low 50s, real high 40s. Being honest with you guys, I paid $49 for this. Like I mentioned, I got $40 for the Super Duty, so a little bit out of pocket, but nothing too crazy. And you know, I went from a truck with almost 100,000 miles to a truck with 12,000 miles, and it's got warranty up to 50,000 miles and battery coverage to 100,000 miles. So I'm like, all right, that's pretty cool. I couldn't imagine there being too much that this truck's going to need that's that expensive other than maybe a battery. And like I said, it's covered to 100,000 miles. So that kind of covered all of my needs. I've never driven an electric vehicle before. I made arrangements on the phone with the dealership. I drove down there. I actually filmed the Super Duty video on the way down there. And I took it for a test drive. It seemed to fit the bill, and away we went. So I've pretty much learned everything on the fly. So I'll kind of walk you guys around and show you what I've learned. So with this being an electric vehicle, there's no engine under the hood. So it has a front trunk. And you pop it open on your keychain, and you open it up, and here's everything you really need. You've got your charger which comes from Chevy or GM. And you've got a few different plug options it comes with, a couple for 240. And kicking around in here somewhere is also one for a standard like 120. I'll get through this now. You're gonna need to charge this thing on 240. If I plug it into, with that stock charger on a 50 amp breaker, that thing doesn't run the whole 50 amps. It's just a stock charger it came with, but it charges at a rate of about 15 miles per hour, 15 miles of range per hour. If you plug it in on 120, single stage, it charges at a rate of about 1 to 1.5 miles of range per hour. So if you put any sort of distance on this thing at all, you're not going to be able to recover when you get home and plug it in. So just, you know, heads up, if you're getting a truck like this, you're going to need 240. So that's that. But continuing around, 12 volt batteries under here. You're not really going to need that too often, but that's here. On this side is your fill for your windshield wipers, or, you know, windshield wash tank. And that's about it up here. I'll do exterior first, and then, you know, move inside. It's on 18-inch rims, nothing crazy. There's a lot of cameras, which brings me to my next point about this being a work truck. Is usually you hear work truck, you don't think that there's going to be 4 or 5 cameras on it. But that's where the electric vehicle part plays in. There's a lot of technology in certain aspects, and it's super bare bones in others. Meaning, it's got surround view cameras, it's got adaptive cruise control, it has rear view backup, avoidance, crash avoidance, automatic braking, stuff like that. Where it's lacking is like things like carpets, lumbar in the seat, heated AC seats, any of that fancy stuff. Really, I don't care. No leather, it's got vinyl seats, all that's fine with me. The only thing that's weird about the lack of carpets is that everything will slide in this truck, especially because it's so fast and kind of nimble. But it is what it is. Lumbar would have been nice, but I digress. Also, it's got the push to open, which is nice. Lock and unlock, all that stuff. We'll get in there in a second. Comes stock with a tonneau cover from Chevy. This tonneau cover is absolutely awful, but I guess it does the job. It probably helps with range too. Makes it a little more aerodynamic. Like I mentioned, inside with everything sliding around on the vinyl, it's the same with the bed. Oh, I messed up. Must have locked the truck. Let me unlock it. I highly recommend a bed mat. I just threw a bed mat in here, or just a mat to keep things from sliding around. There's some Bronco parts. Ben pointed out to me while I'm back here, I should point out a few other features of the bed. The first is the cargo lights. You've got 2 in here, and then you have the rear ones there, right above your mandatory box garage sticker. And they're nice. The only thing I haven't been able to figure out is how to turn them on from back here, because I've only been able to turn them on from the screen inside. So if anyone knows that, please let me know in the comments, because it seems real kind of weird. Usually there's a switch back here. But then looking in here, some of the bonuses of this being an electric truck are that there is a bunch of outlets back here. You have a couple 120, 4 of them actually, 120 plugs. And then this is a 30 amp 240. So that's also back here. So you could run like, I don't know, maybe small welders, plasma cutters, like, you know, all your little equipment there. Pretty cool. I think you could also back power your house with it if you had a power outage. So that's a real nifty feature. And I forgot to mention there is some 120 volt plugs under the frunk. So yeah, cool thing. I haven't used them yet, but seem real cool. And I bet they'll come in handy eventually. That being said, we'll keep on moving. This tonneau cover doesn't stay tight. I'd like to eventually maybe go to a hard cover, but it is what it is for the time being. And that pretty much covers the externals of the truck. I think the WTs come in 2 colors, either black or white for the time being. And that's really about it. Let's move inside. When I opened the door, the first thing I saw was a big indicator on the screen here of how much battery life you have left. I have 40%. They recommend you charge to 80% and stay between 80 and 20 when you can. If you're going on a big trip, you charge to 100%. From 100%, you have 400 miles of range roughly, which is pretty good and was actually another thing I considered when buying this. When towing, it drops significantly, but I've done read some reviews, and towing the Bronco, I should get about 150 to 175 miles worth of range. Not great, but it should get me to all the off-road parks that I need, and I'm actually planning on bringing a generator with me just to charge back up there. So I'll let you guys know how that goes in a future video. Subscribe if you want to see that. But yeah, I'll move inside and show you the rest of everything going on in here. First up, vinyl seats, plastic steering wheel, fine by me, no carpets, so everything just slides around on the ground. But the interior is nicely laid out. You got pockets over here for Bronco parts. If you want to turn this thing on, I'll close the door so it doesn't beep at you. And then you just hit the brake pedal, and you're now ready to drive. It'll auto connect to my phone, which will actually come in a second and turn off this video. So we'll pause it now, and I'll turn off the Wi-Fi connectivity. All right, guys, we're back. I turned off the connectivity on my phone so that it wouldn't automatically connect, but it makes it hard to film. But what's really cool is it will do that normally, and you have Apple CarPlay wirelessly. One thing that's weird about that, though, is you have to address everything through the iPhone Instant Assistant. I'm not trying to say her name because I don't want her to jump in on this video too. But the actual platform of the truck runs off some kind of Google system, and that's the built-in operating system. It runs really nicely. Everything runs smoothly. You can zoom in real easy. Not as clunky as some older cars, but you can do what you want. I haven't used it a ton, to be completely honest. I've mostly stuck with the Apple system. But moving from there, you've got a nice dash layout. You got a lot of nice screens. It'll show you how much energy you're using or how much energy you're regenerating if you're just coasting. And I guess it's another selling point of these vehicles is that you don't have to really go through consumables. There's no oil. There's not really much to service on the engines or motors. And brake pads are there, but they don't really get used because you're typically regenerating through the electric motors. So it's supposed to be a lot of very minimal maintenance on these vehicles. So pretty cool. And it's cool to see right there. This thing's real quiet when driving. It's super fast. This is probably the fastest vehicle I've ever driven. And I'll show you guys more of that later. Let's go through the rest of the interior. This right here is my biggest gripe with this interior. Is what is this hole for? It's like a 3-gallon pail. Not quite a 5-gallon pail, but it's, I don't know, almost up to my elbow, my forearm at least. Like, you put something in there. Like, I have my sunglass case. All right, now you're hunting for everything. And it also goes all the way into the other console too. So everything just slides back and forth every time you start and stop. So that annoyed me immediately. As soon as I saw that, I had to go find something to like fix it. And luckily there's some stuff on Amazon you can buy. Let me grab that and I'll show you. So I had to go and fix that right away. Luckily Amazon sells these trays. I've got the link down below if you're interested. But they fit in here real nice. That one's in there. And then this one goes right in top. There's a little hole cut out here for your cable to come through to charge your phone. And if you want to get down below, it slides out of the way and you can reach. But this has made the driving experience way better. Just because you could put things here. You got a napkin, you've got a couple mints, you got your phone. There's somewhere to put it. So that makes things better. And so really that improved everything. If you go back to the rest of the console, it's similar. It's very big. I just keep a bunch of junk in there. I've got my adapter to charge off a Tesla charger. I've got my collection of Terminator 2 stickers from the 90s, unopened, and a bunch of receipts. But that's kind of console-esque. I understand that for a console. This I didn't get. And I'm sure this is different in the better trim models. But yeah, that was my only real gripe about the truck. Let's move to the back. Moving to the back, you have exactly what you could expect from a crew cab pickup truck, except a lot more room. You've got seats that seem reasonably comfortable, plenty of leg room. This chair is pretty far back and there's still a ton of room back here. And then it all folds up. That side folds up too. And honestly, you could probably put a little air mattress back here and sleep if you really wanted to. I'm not sure how far across it is, but it's pretty decent. And that pretty much wraps up the interior. My biggest concerns about this truck are its ability to tow and the mileage I'll be getting when I'm towing. So far I've gone and I've put 5,000 miles on the road, doing road trips, and it's been great. And also my daily commute. The first weekend I got it at about 65% battery, and it was a 3-hour drive home. So by the time I got home, it was low. It was like, 40, 30% maybe. And then I took Kara and Ben out for a ride, and I burned through another 10% battery. The next morning, I had to go up to upstate New York for a wedding. So I used a fast charger along the way. I think I spent 40, 50 bucks at the fast charger, and it gave me 300 miles worth of range. Was able to do everything I needed to do. I haven't been to a fast charger that many times, maybe 4 or 5 times over the past month, which I guess is a decent amount. But it's really hasn't been bad. I just go try to find somewhere, like maybe there's a restaurant nearby, I'll eat lunch, charge my truck, and away I go. For charging on a day-to-day, I do it right here, and I've got a little clip from my normal commute to put in here for you guys to check out. All right, guys. So I thought I'd do a little real-world testing on this thing, show kind of what range looks like and how much it needs through battery. So I'm on 80% because that's what they recommend you charge to when you're just doing like around town or your daily commute and stuff. If you're on a big trip, they say go to 100%, but right now I'm not, so I just went to 80%. And I'm at a mileage of 17,890, and it says I have 337 miles of range. So I'm gonna go make a ride to work. It's about an hour 10 commute. And yeah, we'll see how accurate the estimate is. And we'll just see how much battery I eat through. So yeah, I'll get back in touch with you guys when I get to work. So I didn't get a video at work, but I have one back at home. My mileage is now 18,024. And I'm at 46% battery left, so I used 34%. So let me do some quick maths, and I'll put in here what that equates to. So yeah, that's pretty much my day-to-day. I'll burn through a little under 40% of battery, charge the truck up, and we're good to go. I can usually get 2 days out of it if I wanted to from 80%, and I could probably get pretty close to 3 days if I was at 100% charge. But I don't really test it because, why risk it? I just charge it every night. It's not too bad to plug in. Like I said, towing is my biggest concern. That's the reason I got the Super Duty, and I know this won't do some of the trips I did with that. With the Super Duty, I went out to Michigan, then Illinois, then Indiana, then back. And I was stopping for gas like every, 3 hours, 4 hours, because I was only getting about 200 miles worth of range. This will maybe get comparable range, but you're gonna have to stop and charge for, at least 45 minutes to an hour. And that's if you could find a charger that you could get to with a trailer. And if not, you're dropping the trailer, you're backing into a charger, you're charging, then you have to rehook up the trailer, and I'm not doing that. However, the gas I save on this thing, I can just go rent a dually for when those trips come up. They don't come up that often. What I do need this to be able to do, though, is make day trips down to Roush Creek or AOAA, which is about 2.5 hours from my house. And that's why I plan to get a generator to throw in the bed, be able to recharge it while I'm there, and then head home. So that test is coming up next weekend, and I'll be sure to post it up here if you guys want to check it out. Before we go, there's one last thing I wanted to mention. Some of these trucks have this window that comes out like an old Avalanche. You can fold the seats down, put the window in the bed divider, and then fold the whole thing down, and that's pretty sweet. I didn't know that until I was poking around at the dealership, so I thought I'd share just in case you didn't know that either. And here is my other big complaint. This shouldn't be a Silverado EV. This should be an Avalanche. They should have named it the Avalanche or made some kind of pun off of Avalanche with EV. But I digress. Let's get rolling. So yeah, we're just going out for a little cruise. We'll start out in the back roads. And the truck is incredibly fast from a stop. It picks up speed really good, like merging on a highway or passing, it's great. And it's like just relatively quiet in here. When I got into it from the Super Duty, I was pretty thoroughly impressed. And 5,000 miles later, I'm still really impressed. The other thing that I've noticed from going from like driving like real high vehicles to this is that the weight's down low, so it corners real nicely. And not that I whip it around, but it is, you know, noticeably different. No body roll or minimal body roll compared to what I'm normally used to driving. So pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, I'll give it a little gas right here, like nothing crazy, but we're doing like 20 crawling along.
Oh my god.
And that's 60. And then nice braking for this deer that's up here in the road. Oh, multiple deer, we have a whole family. A family of creatures. But yeah, like it's real quick. It's like that on the highway too. I've gone back and I started driving some of my work trucks after driving this a bit. And they've got the 6.2 liter and they're 2017 Denali's 1500s. And they feel like dogs compared to this. So I can kind of see what the hype is for electric. But yeah, it's enough on the side roads. Maybe I'll show you guys a little bit on the highway and we'll get this thing wrapped up. So yeah, I'll get on the highway, show you guys a little bit of a merge, and then the automatic cruise control, which I think is actually really cool. I've never had a vehicle with that feature before. So yeah, we'll come up with the merge, kind of light. And then, you know, do like 30 around the 35. 60. 75, 80, 85 plus 90, like, you know, pretty quick, pretty cool. And we'll see if we can catch up with someone to go and show off that cruise control. So the 3WT, the work truck, this one, I forget what they said. It's got like 5 and change horsepower and 600 and something foot-pounds of torque. I'll put a footnote in what the actual specs are. If you were to go with the heavier trims, the nicer trims, they actually have a bit more power too, and they also have some performance modes. This doesn't have any of that, but for what I need, I don't need any of that. You know, I'm looking for towing capacity, that's really it. The speed and everything else is kind of just a perk. We go off the highway, we're looping back around to see if we can find a little bit of traffic, but you know, the truck just drives smooth. Probably turn off the turn signal. And on my commute, it's, you know, been enjoyable. You can hear everything kind of sliding around. But yeah, it gets up to speed in no time at all. Alright, so I just turned on the cruise control. You hit the cruise control button, then down up. I've got it set to 70 miles an hour, but we're stopped at about 62, 63 because of this car in front of us. So if I were to go and get out of the way of this car, it'll start to speed up. And then if I were to get back behind it, it'll slow me back down. Pretty drastically too, because we're getting close to it. But what you could also do is adjust your gap distance. If I want to ride a little bit closer to it, I can just move my gap distance down. And same with this, it'll slowly creep me up to whatever distance I set. Or you can go back to a farther gap distance, it'll slow me back down, give me more room in between. But I always thought that was pretty cool. And just like normal cruise control, you hit the brake, it turns off. So other than that, you know, charging's been good. Like I mentioned, I charge a lot of it at home. That was one of my biggest worries about the truck, but so far it's been working well. If you guys have any questions about the electric truck life or this thing, I'll let you know what I know, which isn't much, but it's something. And I think with that, I'm gonna wrap up the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see the video where I talk about why I traded in my 2021 F-250, I'll put the link down below. And in the next couple of weeks, I'll have some towing content with this, as well as some awesome off-roading, as well as off-roading with the Blazer, my dad's Blazer, which is getting a pretty sweet paint job. So definitely stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a good one.